Well done, group. It's very serious. As Cheryl Wadun said, we can change the world we live in. We have invited representatives from organizations who are engaging in targeted interventions for economic opportunity. These women, along with their clients, are walking together towards solutions. As Nicholas Kristof ended the film, a path is appearing as to how to make a difference. Last July, Sarah Owen agreed to moderate this panel, and we were so excited. We're so excited to have that Sarah was going to be here. We were also so excited because it showed us that this idea must be a good one if Sarah was willing to participate in it. Sarah Owen is the president and CEO of the Southwest Florida Community Foundation. As the website tells us, and I love this quote, the foundation is committed to engaging the community in conversations and action that create sustainable, positive change and provides the funding to make those changes a reality. Conversations and action, that's what we're all about. And these words certainly fit with what we're doing in this series. It has been a joy to work with Sarah. She's been supportive, but at the same time challenging us. She's gently guided us with what descriptions of her call her laser-like focus. Sarah Owen from the Southwest Florida Foundation.
I can't believe you were surprised that I'd want to come and have a conversation. Anybody that knows me knows that is about one of my very most favorite things to do. And I've really been inspired tonight because some of my favorite people in the world I ran into tonight, and I'm like, what are you doing here? And then I look and I see they have a Zonta name tag on, which means some of my very favorite people are Zontians. So thank you so much to the Zontians for making this possible. I think anytime people can get together and have a conversation, we're just setting ourselves up for something amazing to happen. Because just the dialogue and interacting with each other is really where organically solutions begin to happen, or as the documentary says, a path appears. Now, I watch a lot of documentaries as well. I'm really excited about them and love seeing them. And there isn't an idea I don't love. I just love new ideas. I love solutions. But often I'll watch a video similar to those that we watched tonight and simultaneously wonder, okay, but that's in Nashville, and they got Al Gore's barn, floor, right? And, there was one that Ashley Judd there, and, you can kind of start to feel like, well, yeah, but they've got all of that. Well, in my job at the foundation, what is really exciting is I get to see those same things happen right here. I get to see it at the state level on philanthropy, and I get to see it right here. And I know many of the women represented on the panel previously, and have gotten to know a couple of them just through getting ready for tonight. And I can tell you, we could make a documentary about every single one of these women, and you would be equally inspired. So I think that is an exciting part. So, yes. So that's it. We don't even need to say another word. We're done here. No. So tonight, what I'm really looking forward to is for you to hear from them in kind of a panel discussion. And then we're going to open it up so that you can ask some questions if you'd like. If you want to have more information, or maybe there's something I didn't ask, that burning question that you would want an answer to. But before we get going, I want each of the women to introduce themselves. Just briefly, so you know who they are, which organization that they're with, and they're just going to briefly kind of frame, because some of these women you will recognize from larger organizations that do more than just economic opportunity empowerment, but they're going to just briefly kind of frame what program they're really here to talk to tonight. So Lucy, I'm going to start with you. Just tell the group here who's here to have a nice, intimate conversation with you who you are, the name of your organization, and the program that you offer that allows for economic opportunity.
Great. My name is Lucy Garcia. I'm Lucy, you can call me Lucy. I am from Mexico. I took this opportunity to start an agency that was able to serve the underserved. I'm a social worker, and as a social worker, you find ways to implement certain services that are not there. So I am working with, the name of the organization is called Organización Internacional de Latinos en el Exterior.
And this is the reason solely I had each of them introduce themselves. Because I practiced that for about a week, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice if they introduced themselves? Well, yes, thank you, Lucy. All right.
I'm Dorothy Browning, and I'm with the Goodwill Microenterprise Program. We target low to moderate income individuals that have a business aspiration, and we help them put together a business plan to decide, is it really a good business plan? I do have to point out, Sarah, that Goodwill is actually probably the largest social enterprise in Southwest Florida.
Yeah, that's great. You're exactly right.
Hi, I'm Deborah Mathinos, and I'm with the Heights Center, and our primary program is Pathways to Prosperity, specifically a culinary arts job training program that sometimes overlaps with Dorothy's.
Hi, I'm Jamie Rosseland, and I'm with Rethreaded, and we're social entrepreneurship up in Jacksonville, Florida, and our sole purpose is to break the cycle of the sex trade by coming at it from the economic opportunity viewpoint and taking away those things that make women vulnerable in the first place and empowering them never to have to sell their body again.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Barbara Dell, and I'm the CEO and founder of Dress for Success Southwest Florida. We cover the territory of both Lee and Collier counties. I started Dress for Success Southwest Florida 6 years ago. We are one of 140 affiliates throughout the world. We all work independently and individually, but we have the support of Worldwide, which is in New York City. The mission of Dress for Success is to help women who are disadvantaged and in many cases underprivileged to help them find employment. And we do that by providing them with clothing that they would need for an interview, and they get a brand new outfit to keep, or they, once they get a job, they get 20 items to keep. And then we have 3 programs that we offer for unemployed women, employed women, and for women who want to start their own business.
Oh, thank you so much. Dorothy, that's so interesting because I think a lot, the comment you made about Goodwill being one of the largest social enterprises, sometimes we think of social enterprise, right, as startups and these smaller entities that have kind of organically come up that serve a small number of people. But it's also important for us to think about that there are systems in place that promote social enterprise that have been around for a really long time. So as we watch the documentary about Thistle Farms, I kind of wanted to narrow the lens to the state level because Jamie joins us from Jacksonville. She's actually not local here to Southwest Florida, but the company is in Florida, in Jacksonville. And I think that as I researched your program, it really mirrored in a lot of ways what was happening at Thistle Farms, kind of a small organic startup. And when you heard Becca from Thistle Farms really kind of talk early in the video about what her inspiration was, kind of those moments where it just became clear to her about what needed to happen. I'm wondering from your founder, I know you're not the founder, but you are a valued team member there as the assistant marketing manager, and you interact quite often with the founder. What's your understanding and what's your company's viewpoint? What was that original inspirational moment? Was it similar to what you hear Becca say, or were there differences there?
Yeah, our company actually started from our founder's desire for women to be able to know their worth and value. She had this whole life plan, and it got knocked off course when she was in college and experienced some some things around sex where she felt like her worth and value was just on what she could offer men. And so she went on a missions trip to India, and her and a friend co-founded another company that's very similar to ours. We sell some of their products. Some of you guys have bought some of their products, and it's called Sari Bari. And she was going into the red light district in Calcutta, India, and just ministering to women there, and thought, we have to do something more than just tell these women it's going to be okay, and then there's a God that loves them. There has to be something more tangible. And so she went in and started a company where they made blankets out of saris. And then she came back to the States 5 years later after the company was up and running. They're still up and running. And went on an outreach program here in not here in Jacksonville,
Yeah,
not
I
in
know.
Jacksonville, but in Jacksonville, and found the same exact thing was happening in Jacksonville that was happening in Calcutta, India. And so she started the same company. Women just didn't have a place to go. The cycle couldn't be broken because even if they were to escape, where would they work? Society, and both societies have rejected these women and said they're not worthy.
Yeah. I think that's interesting because it really highlights the fact that first your eyes are open to there's an issue, and your first inclination is I want to protect them or I want to provide something for them. But do you see in both cases of those stories, it quickly moved to what are we going to do to empower them, right? Rather than just the inclination to say, what can we do to provide shelter or food, which is basic needs, which are important. But then what happens next that then allows things to continue to grow and prosper? And I was struck by the video where Becca really highlighted that, it isn't large numbers of women, and I think it's the same thing with you with Rethreaded, is started at 6, the first year went to 12, and you're hoping to get to 24, right? So
It actually started with 3 women.
oh, 3, okay, wow. So kind of doubling each year, so really,
ma'am.
really neat. So it's not necessarily that when you really try to empower and provide this economic opportunity, it takes a while to get it to scale, right? In these kind of startup situations.
Yep. Becca's program has been around for 20 years, and Rethreaded has been around for 5 years. And so we are trying to scale up each year. And the scaling isn't about the amount of money we're making, it's about the amount of women we're able to employ in our company.
Right. So that's an important fact there. 20 years to get Becca's Thistle Farms to where it is today. So a lot of times we're looking for that silver bullet opportunity, but really it takes patience and perseverance, which kind of goes to Dorothy's point around Goodwill and how long you've been around and that kind of thing. So I know the others of you were not necessarily founders of your programs or your organizations, but can you tell me kind of what the inspiration was within your organization for your particular program? Deb, you want to take that one? Kind of what inspired Heights to really say we're going to take on this culinary program? What was your thinking, similar to what we've heard Becca and Jamie say?
Back when the foundation was turning into the center by actually building a building, part of the thinking was we know the population that we serve needs help finding employment that will provide them a living wage. They're unemployed or underemployed. And we're in very South Fort Myers, and there really are not job training opportunities that are conveniently located for our population. And we're in Southwest Florida. There is a restaurant on every corner, and lots of people who like to eat. And the decision was, as they were designing the center, to put in a commercial grade kitchen so that the job training that would eventually occur once the center opened would be culinary. We know that's one of the top 5 growing industries in all of Florida, and even higher in Southwest Florida. And it is a skill set that you can enter at very different levels of ability. So it was, in a way, a no-brainer.
Fantastic. And tell us a little bit, do you have now women who are going out and becoming chefs and working in the culinary field here in Southwest Florida?
Yes, we started the program 2 years ago. We're just celebrating our 2-year anniversary. thanks to a grant from the Southwest Florida Community Foundation. We got that for 2 years.
I told you
And-
I love big ideas.
Yes,
See, that's
big
how that
ideas.
works.
And the first year, we actually partnered with Goodwill. So Dorothy and I have been in on this for a while. And in the 2 years, we have had 89 people graduate, and 86 of the 89 are currently employed. Yeah. And the 3 who are not employed chose to pursue an education in another field. They like to cook, but they don't want to do that for a living. So they are working on associate's degrees.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And one of the things that we found with many of our women was they always had a desire to start their own business. Hence, Dorothy and her program and tying those two together. The other thing that our program does that is unique and really allows the high level of success is we also have ESL classes, English as a second language, GED classes, financial literacy. That's all built into the program. So we're trying to beat down as many barriers to success as we possibly can while they're with us.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's a great segue to you, Dorothy, in that if Heights is giving them this skill that they can take out, but they want to start their own business, what do you see as some of the interventions that you're doing that allow, I know not just from Heights, but from all over the region, people who want to start their own business? What was the inspiration? I know Goodwill has been doing this kind of work for a long time, but specifically in the micro enterprise field.
Yeah, actually, microenterprise is a rarity in Goodwill. We're only one of 5 programs across the nation, Goodwill, that sponsors a microenterprise program. And I hate to be, the same thing, but it actually didn't come from Goodwill. It came from Southwest Florida Community Foundation. In 2010, when we were in double-digit unemployment here, the Community Foundation did what they do really well and convened some thought leaders and said, what can we do about it? We can't wait for Hertz to come. And if you are aware, over 90% of the businesses in Florida are microenterprises, which means 5 or fewer employees, 35,000 or less to start. And it tends to have a tag of a disadvantage, such as low to moderate income. And so the thought leader said, we need this. We need somebody to do it. And then they came to Goodwill and said, you already have an outreach into this. You have job links programs where people come that are unemployed. You do a lot in the low-income communities. It makes sense for you to take on this program. And it did make sense for us. And so it wasn't born out of us, but it was such a good fit with what Goodwill already did.
Fantastic. Wonderful. And what about you, Barbara? What was kind of, I know Dress for Success is a national program, so it was already established, but what, and I know you're the founder of this Dress for Success here in Southwest Florida, so there had to be that moment that Becca and Jamie talked about of recognizing that there's an issue and we need to do something about it. What was that for you?
Well, for me, in my own personal situation, I found that my division of the company I was working for, the whole division was eliminated, so I could not find a job. So I certainly was inspired by that, and that'll do it for you. And so I looked actively, almost to a point where I was obsessed with it, and finally looked into Dress for Success, not quite knowing what it was because it is international. I thought, well, maybe I'll volunteer, maybe I'll get a job, maybe I'll end up being the CEO, who knows? But in any case, things changed and things grew, and we continue to grow. And I think people look at Dress for Success about the clothing, but it really isn't just, it's how it started. And I think it's important, as I mentioned, we have the other programs, our entrepreneurial spirit program, and again, we've worked with Dorothy on that, and our program for professional women's group for women who are working. And then we have a new career center, and thanks to Zonta, they have provided us with grants for that. And actually, thanks to the foundation, you have provided us with grants for our entrepreneurial spirit program. But I tucked under here, just like you told me to, so nobody would hear the crinkle. We have a new program that we're starting, And my team is looking at me like, she never remembers anything. And it's called the Women Empowered Through Employment Series, otherwise known as Wheaties. So we are working on that now. It's in the process. And we're just so proud of everything that we've done, and we will continue to do what we can for the women in the community, no matter what the needs are, because everybody needs to become empowered.
Yeah, fantastic. I love that. I really think that it is clear that in many of these cases, when these empowerment and economic opportunity ideas are born, it's because somebody's experienced something. You talked about your founder experiencing something personally, totally different than what you experienced, Barbara, but it was kind of that catalytic moment for something to happen. Or if something new is born, a new idea, or in Deb and Heights' case, you had a new opportunity, something new was being born in a building, and you took that and you made it into something. It could have just been a catering kitchen, easily, right? It could have just been a kitchen to serve the building, but instead you turned it into something more, and I think those personal experiences are so valuable. So Lucy, I know that you serve a very specific group of clients. You're very focused on the Latino population, and that's got to have it's got to have similarities to what we're talking about, but it's got to have its unique perspective too. Culturally, and you're the founder of this organization, what inspired you, and what do you see culturally here in Southwest Florida that you're addressing?
I think I address many issues within this group of Latino women and all their families. I have worked with substance abuse, mental abuse, with children that have been sexually abused, women that have been trafficked, with all this population and people who have been coming out of jail and not even finding a source of employment. And that's how even I work in collaboration with every single one of the agencies here present, connecting them, all these clients or these individuals. And I learned, after talking with you the other day, that I'm a social entrepreneur.
Yes, you are.
I do.
Don't you feel great?
Oh, yes. Now I can talk about that.
Yes, definitely.
I do provide services, direct services to anybody and everybody who have been the least served, or those individuals that haven't been able to be served. I work a lot with undocumented as well, and because I work with undocumented, it is a little bit more harder to get grants. Maybe I could get some grants from Southwest Florida Foundation. But such women have been, no words to express. I feel that I'm a little piece of the puzzle of all the job that these women do within the community. For these women, they run the extra mile, job that, or work that a lot of people don't get to do with these women. And I'm just pleased, and I'm honored to work with these women just to help this population. And because of that, working with these other agencies, I was not allowed many times to do certain jobs. And I said, wait a second. If I've been paid to do this job, and I'm not getting allowed to do the job, I said, guess what? This is time for me to move out and go ahead and do the job. I'm not getting paid, but guess what? These women are getting the services that nobody has been given it to them. And actually, we're doing a WISE program, Women Implementing Services for Employment, or sewing. We're doing all these things. Just tell me what to do and I'll just get over there. But if you see the items that are outside, these women have been doing it. They just need a little push. They're women that still in the domestic violence issues within their own household. Why do they stay? Because they don't have skills, they don't have education. And my mission and my vision is to help these people to move on throughout education. And so we provide the psychoeducational services. We not only do sewing classes, we are introducing them to English classes. We're introducing them to budget. I'm not the best budget person. But we try to bring other people within the community to help them address these issues so they can know how to even make the best use of their own money that is coming into the house. So you will see these people, and they're good people, they're humble people, that they will take any help that you can offer them. And they're so grateful that if I said, do you know how to make tamales? And guess what? Next class they will bring me the whole pat of tamales. So, hey, you know?
I love how you saw a need in a population, both professionally and culturally, that you could really address, and that you've taken that on. And I think you bring up a point of something that I want to cover kind of quickly, because I do want to give time for the audience to ask some questions as well, is you really talked about the women's involvement in the program and in the design of the program. And I think that if we're talking about empowerment, we have to be very aware that for women to be empowered, they have to be part of the decision. Both in Thistle Farms, I know in Rethreaded, I mean, you can see it happening. The women are empowered to make decisions. They're part of the design of the program. It isn't just being presented to them like, we're here to help you. I mean, even if it was the Zonta Club, hi, we're from Zonta and we're here to help, doesn't work, because empowerment means you're part of the process. So do you want to speak, who would like to speak on women being involved in the actual design of the program? Barbara and maybe Jamie. Yeah.
So we've been very fortunate, you know, in the 6 years that we've been open, in Southwest Florida, we've served about 3,000 women, and that's a lot of women. And we've been very fortunate, and so many of the women have been involved in a variety of areas. They have been on our advisory board. They have been involved with our worldwide special projects. They have been volunteers. They have been personal shoppers. They have been involved in a variety of capacities where they can mentor and support and encourage and, once again, empower their peers, the women that they've been maybe working with or got to know, and continued to help them develop their skills, and it helps them to improve their own lives.
Yeah, fantastic. Jamie, what about at Rethreaded? Because I know that you've moved up through the company, and I know that there is a model there where the women are empowered to be part of the company. You want to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. At Rethreaded, we want women to come and work with the company for about 2 to 5 years. And there are different facets of the company they can work in. All the products that we have for sale on table are made by women, but there's also opportunities to work in inventory, marketing, finance, admin, going to the bank, driving down to Sanibel for the week.
Yeah.
To represent the company. We have all these opportunities for women. It's not just limited to making a product. And so leadership's been really important. It's been kind of a turning point for us this year, is to have leaders within the company who are attending strategic planning meetings for the next 5 years, who are the voices who are saying what advocacy and what our dealings with the media is going to look like. Survivors have a great voice in Rethreaded, and the direction of the company is being decided by those women that the company is there to serve.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. One of my favorite moments in the video is when the one woman looks to Ashley Judd and says, "Look, I'm smart." Right? I just love that, right? Because that's a moment that transcends everything. All right, before I turn it over to the audience, I do, in the spirit of wanting to give people a glimpse of how they can be involved right now. Because again, sometimes we see a video like this and we think we have to create something new, right? Something new has to be created in order for us to be part of the change. But what you see, other than Jamie, but you can buy lots of her products on the website and get involved that way. But locally here, if you were gonna say one thing, maybe somebody is sitting out there right now, they've seen the video, maybe they've been to the first part of the series too, and they're like, I'm ready to go. What can I do to assist in helping women empowerment through economic opportunity at your organization, right? So Deborah, what if somebody was sitting in the audience right now and said,
Sign
I
me
want to
up
be
right
part
now.
of this, what would they do? Just in one sentence.
Volunteer to be mentor / tutor / cheerleader / encourager.
Right, because everybody needs that, no matter where we are in life. Fantastic. Dorothy, what would you say at the microenterprise
The
program?
same thing Deborah said.
Yeah.
When our women come out of our class, they need a mentor. So if you have a business background or an industry-specific skill, it would be phenomenal to be able to match a woman coming out developing her own business with one of you.
Yep. Lucy, what would you say if someone, and you're a new organization, so if somebody's sitting in the audience right now and says, I want to get involved in this in Southwest Florida right now, what would that be?
Well, if you do have any specific or special talent that you can share with these women, they're more than willing to learn just to move on. Don't give them the bread, just teach them how to bake it. So that way, if they run out of bread, they can go ahead and bake some more.
Oh.
So if you do have the skill, just go ahead and help us, just to pass it on, which that's what it's about.
Fantastic, I love that. Barbara?
Most definitely, we need mentors. That's always a need. I mean, there's something that we use in every area of our organization. We desperately need help in administration. We have one wonderful volunteer who helps, and we could use about 10 of her because there's so much. There is so much to do. So I think those are the main things. But I think it's also important. We love to hear from the community ideas. It's really important that people come forth and say, well, why don't you do this? Or why don't you try doing something a little bit different? And why is the affiliate in New Orleans doing this and you're not? So ideas coming from the community are most important to us as well.
And Jamie, what about us I know you're way up north, so it might be hard for us to be hands-on, but what can someone do to support you all?
I think the biggest thing is to shop.
Yes, I did. I would have been very supportive tonight. I have a very big bag down there.
I mean, that's why Rethreaded exists. When you buy a product, you're buying a woman's freedom. It's absolutely incredible. And then when you buy the product, you tell people about it. The reason we're down here is because of Nancy and her coming down back from Biloxi, and all the women who were in Biloxi and coming and talking about Rethreaded, and to share the message that there's Thistle Farms in Nashville, Tennessee, with Ashley Judd and the Al Gore floors.
Right,
But,
right.
there's a little warehouse up in Jacksonville who's trying to do the same thing in Florida.
All right, I love it. Thanks.